Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase. My name is Sam Lugani, and I lead security product marketing for G Suite. The next segment is about customer use cases. We'll outline 10 security questions we get from customers, and we'll do a walkthrough on how to solve them with the security tools that G Suite provides. You can ask questions anytime on the platform, and we have Googlers on standby to answer them. Let's get started with the 10 demo showcases.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite. My name is Chad, and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. How can my admins work together to resolve security incidents? G Suite is traditionally really good at helping end users collaborate. But if you look at how admins work together, it tends to be really archaic, usually involving taking screenshots of the product and sharing them through email or chat. This is why we're so excited to be bringing G Suite style collaboration to security admins. I'll walk you through a demo and show you a little bit more of what that looks like. All right, so as a security admin, I've received an alert that one of my users is sharing files externally. And so what we want to do is from the alert center, where we receive this alert, we want to dive in to figure out what they've been sharing and how sensitive those files are. So right from this alert, we can click on Investigate Alert, which jumps us into the investigation tool so we can see in more depth what's happening. And when we click on that, it generates the right query to show us the information related to the alert. And then we see the specific log events that are associated with what that user was doing. And so we see that they are sharing files that are fairly sensitive. Project differentiation, escalations, financial performance, 2-year vision, things we probably don't want shared externally. So what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these files, and we're going to come to our audit file permissions experience. And from here, what we can do is we can remove the external shares so that these files are no longer available. So we'll come to links, we'll select all of these files, and then we'll change them to restricted so they're no longer available. And then we'll save that. So we've remediated this issue, but what we want to do is we want to share this with our colleague Robin, who handles account security, so that she can suspend this user as it looks like they're doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So we'll come here to the investigation tool save investigation option, and we'll type in the date here, and then we'll call it attempted exfiltration. And we'll save that. So once we've saved this, what you'll see is there's now an option to share this investigation. So we'll click on share, and we'll type in our colleague's email address, and we'll say, can you suspend this user? And then we'll send that. And now when we switch to our colleague's view, so this is from Robin's point of view, you'll see that she received an email, and when she clicks on open investigation, what that does is it opens the same investigation that we were just working on. So we can see that the original admin queried, they saw these different results, and then they took an action to block those files so they weren't shared externally anymore. Now what we want to do is we want to come to this actor, and we want to suspend that user. So we're going to come down and look at their email account. So we're going to look at their account details, and then right from here, we can select that and we can suspend this user. So that's really quickly how two admins can work together to resolve that issue together. So in that demo, we quickly walked you through how multiple admins can work together to resolve a security incident. I just want to thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite and Cloud Identity. My name is Brad, and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers: how do I configure my new organization to protect my devices? G Suite has device management built right into the platform. Basic device management is on by default, which lists all mobile devices that access your G Suite account, and it allows you to wipe the account off of that device if it becomes lost or stolen, and it allows you to enforce a passcode on that device. You can see the device listing from here when you go to mobile devices, and I'm going to show you here. I've filtered for a device user named Easy, and you can see the list of all the devices that have accessed G Suite account here. Many users would like more stringent controls on their devices. So you can turn on Advanced Management. When you turn on Advanced Management, click Save. And this will allow you to provide greater control over the devices that are accessing your G Suite accounts. So you can do things like check for jailbreak detection or check for compromised devices on Android devices. You can look at things like allow or not allow camera. You can require device encryption, that sort of thing. You can also start looking at providing app management on devices so that you can do things like create a curated list of applications that you want to push to devices. All of this is part of advanced management. Now, when you do this, you require your users to jump through a couple more hoops when they log into their G Suite account, and that's what I want to show you today. So looking at this device over here, we're going to log in. Hang on 1 second. Okay, let's enroll the phone. So log in. What we're going to do is we're going to open Gmail, and we're going to add this account. And in doing so, it should walk us through enrollment of this device into advanced management. First thing we do is we put in our passcode. Hopefully I got that right. Let's see. Looks like we're in. Now, the first thing it's going to tell us is we have to install Google Device Policy. It's going to take us to the App Store. We install Google Device Policy from the App Store. Give it just a second to download here. Once Google Device Policy has installed, we're going to open it, and it will walk us through the process for installing a profile from Apple. So we select here, we accept the terms of service, and we install a profile. A profile is required to be able to manage an iOS device. So we do want to allow, we allow, and then here, this is a requirement from Apple. We have to manually go to settings to take the profile and install that on the device. So we follow the instructions here. We go to settings, and the profile is right here. We install. And once the install is complete, we have to trust that we're going to allow Google to manage this phone. Hit done. Now we should be in. Now I should be able to, it says the device has been approved. So now we can go back to Gmail. We can open Gmail. We can sign in, enable this account. Done. And now we're into the account. And if I go to the devices list, we can research for this device, and you can see that it's been added. And now this is the device we just added. You can see we have a bunch of information about the device. We can see that because app management is enabled, we've installed some apps on the device. And we also have some control over the device where we can wipe the account or wipe the device. And that's what it took to get an iPhone up and running on advanced device management. Thank you for tuning in. please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite. My name is Neil, and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. What are some protections against phishing and malware, and how do I configure them? First, let's start with the advanced phishing and malware controls. You can find these settings by navigating to the Safety section of the Gmail settings in the Admin Console. The controls you'll find in this area allow you to enable protections for specific types of threats. Today, there are 3 categories of controls: attachments, links and external images, and spoofing and authentication. For each setting, you can choose whether to enable it and what action to take on any messages that match the enabled setting. For settings that affect particular messages, you can choose to keep a matching message in the user's inbox with a warning banner, to move the message directly to the spam folder, or even to move the message to an admin quarantine. These settings can also be enabled for the entire domain or on a per organizational unit basis. Now, let's take a quick look at a few of the settings in this area. Let's start with attachments. The first setting is protect against encrypted attachments from untrusted senders. Encrypted attachments cannot be scanned for malware. This setting allows you to flag any encrypted messages sent to your users by entities they haven't communicated with before. The next setting is protect against attachments with scripts from untrusted senders. Many malware infections happen via malicious scripts and documents. To reduce this threat vector, this setting allows you to flag scripts from untrusted senders. The final setting here is protect against anomalous attachment types. Uncommon and archaic file types are often used to spread malware, and attachment types that are commonly seen in one domain may be incredibly rare in another. This setting allows you to flag any message that contains an attachment with a type that's exceedingly rare for your domain. Next, let's take a look at 2 settings in the Links and External Images section. The first setting here is identify links behind shortened URLs. Attackers often use URL shorteners to obfuscate malicious links. This setting allows G Suite to unwind these URLs to discover malicious content. Next, let's look at Scan Linked Images. This allows for scanning of images referenced by links to find hidden malicious content. Finally, let's take a quick look at the Spoofing and Authentication section. There are a number of settings in this section, but let's take a look at a few. First, protect against domain spoofing based on similar domain names. This setting protects against messages that come from domains that look visually similar to trusted ones. Next, protect against spoofing of employee names. This setting protects against messages where the email sender's name is a name in your company directory, but the email is not from your domain or domain aliases. And finally, protect against inbound emails spoofing your domain. This setting protects against messages that are unauthenticated and pretending to be from your domain. There are a few settings in this section that we haven't discussed, and we'd encourage you to take a look at them all. As you've probably noticed, at the bottom of each section is a checkbox that says Apply Future Recommended Settings Automatically. Enabling this checkbox will allow you to automatically stay up to date with future settings we may build, ensuring that your domain stays optimally protected. The other feature we wanted to highlight today was Security Sandbox. If you're a G Suite Enterprise Edition user, you'll find this setting in the Advanced Settings page under Gmail Settings in the Spam, Phishing, and Malware section. The Security Sandbox feature is very effective at catching unknown and zero-day malware. It detects the presence of unknown malware and attachments by virtually executing them in a private, secure sandbox environment and analyzing the side effects on the operating system to determine malicious behaviors. The attachments are detonated within a sandbox the exact same way as they would be if an actual user had clicked on it. This is done in a matter of minutes prior to the delivery of the email and provides users with an extra layer of security. You can enable Security Sandbox by simply enabling this checkbox. Additionally, you can set up custom rules for when to run the Security Sandbox by creating a Security Sandbox rule. This will allow you to create custom logic, like exempting intra-domain traffic from sandboxing or exempting traffic from a particular IP. Finally, using content compliance rules, you can move malware caught by the sandbox straight to an admin-controlled quarantine. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite. My name is Sam, and I lead security product marketing for G Suite. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. What should I do when I see suspicious activity? Here I am logged into the Alert Center within G Suite, and I see multiple events. One of these events is something which says suspicious device activity. Now, as I click on this event, it gives me more details around what's really happening behind the scenes. So I can see here that there are some related alerts as well, but it looks like there's been some suspicious activity on Brittany's device, and Brittany is an employee within the organization Inc. 42. So right from within the Alert Center, I can click on Investigate Alert, which directly takes me to this investigation, and all these queries are pre-fed. So we can see that Brittany has an Android device, it's a Pixel 2, and it looks like there's been some suspicious activity on this device. Now, by experience, we know that a lot of such activity occurs because of malicious and phishing emails. So what I want to do next is I want to see if Brittany has received any suspicious emails lately. So I can pivot from right within the investigation tool, and I can look at all the different emails Brittany has received. Now, as you can see, there's a bunch of emails. Now, next step, I want to see if any one of these emails was tagged as suspicious by our filters. And it looks like there's 4 emails which were tagged suspicious by our filters. And these emails have the subject line, time sensitive, update your 401k account now. And they're coming from someone whose domain is similar to our domain, but not quite the same. And that's the reason they were tagged as suspicious by our Gmail filters. Now, one of the things with classic phishing attacks is that if such kinds of emails are going out to Brittany, they're probably going out to other employees within my organization as well. So now I can pivot on this subject from right within the investigation tool, and I can see everyone within my organization that has received the same email. And a lot of people have. Now, I want to do a couple of things here. One is I want to select all these emails and proactively delete these emails from users' inboxes. Next step, I also want to see if any one of these employees has maybe shared something outside the organization which they shouldn't have. So I can pivot on all these users, and I can see their Drive activity. And I can see again if they have shared stuff outside the organization lately. So it looks like a bunch of files have been shared. One of them is our compensation model. There's competitor analysis, there's our financial report, and a few other files. And that is quite concerning. So I can do a couple of things. One is I can select all these files, and I can audit these files' permissions. Now, all this is happening within the investigation tool. Now, I see a lot of these files, and I want to limit and make sure that these files only remain within the organization. So I can select all these files, and I, with a few clicks, can ensure that these organization files are not shared outside. I can go one step further, which is I can select all these users. And I can suspend them from within the investigation tool. So we did a couple of things. We first figured out that there was a device which was compromised. Next step, we figured out why this device was compromised. It was because of an email which was tagged as suspicious by us, but Brittany probably opened that email. And as a next step, we figured out that Brittany was not the only recipient of this email. It was shared and it was sent across multiple different users. We proactively deleted that email from those users' inboxes. We then suspended users. And again, we looked at any files which had been shared outside the organization, and we limited file sharing to only within the organization. So that's it with the demo. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite and Cloud Identity. My name is Dan, and I'm a program manager at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. How can I control access to sensitive information based on the attributes of users or devices? Let's jump into the demo. Here we have a G Suite user named Bob. Bob is working in Gmail on his MacBook Pro. We can see that he has a Chrome extension called Endpoint Verification that was installed by his administrator, Dan. In the admin panel, Dan can see a list of all devices that are running Endpoint Verification and certain characteristics about them. Here we see Bob is running on a MacBook Pro 10.14.5. Dan finds out there's a security flaw in 10.14.5 and wants to protect his fleet by ensuring they can't access corporate resources unless they upgrade to 10.14.6. G Suite has a feature called Context-Aware Access, where Dan can create access levels based on different attributes. For example, here's an access level that requires the minimum OS version to be 10.14.6. Dan will then apply that access level to Gmail. There are a variety of different attributes that can be used in access levels. For example, here's an access level that was created using the IP subnet. This is a great use case for when workers are outside of the corporate environment. Dan can block apps such as Drive, Calendar, and other G Suite apps. Other attributes that are available from endpoint verification includes device encryption and password status. When Bob goes to use Gmail again, because he is not using 10.14.6, he is denied access. This is context-aware access for G Suite. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite. My name is Ganesh, and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. How do I help ensure that G Suite satisfies my organizational policies? We've heard from our customers that they'd like to control where their G Suite data at rest resides. To serve that need, we've built G Suite data regions. Let's dive into a demo to help you understand how to set it up. In order to choose a data region, navigate to the Company Profile section of your admin console. Click on the Show More tab and on the Data Regions card. What you'll notice is in a matter of a few clicks, you can set up a data region setting for your domain. You can select an organizational unit and apply a data region setting accordingly to that organizational unit. This is a zero-code experience. You don't need to write any scripts at all, and you can choose multiple regions for as many OUs as you'd like. We know that our customers' businesses are in a fast-changing environment with mergers and acquisitions, reorganizations across geos, etc. To help you keep pace with it all, we offer full flexibility with no minimum seat counts and no limits on the number of times you want to change data regions. We also offer full visibility into the progress of your corresponding data moves. In order to view move progress, navigate to the dashboard section of your admin console. What you will see here is the two cards on the right show you move progress for each of the regions that you've chosen. Move progress is aggregated on a per application basis for all of the covered apps. This year, we added backups to data regions coverage, and in order to view backup move progress, please click on the Backups tab. We aggregate all of the moves across the cards on the right and sum it into the two regions and the overall move percentage for the domain on the card on the left. You must be wondering how tedious this data move process is to manage. Whether businesses would get disrupted because of files being taken down, or if you need to spin up help desks and communicate to your employees. The good news is there's no need for you to do any of that. We make all the data moves in a manner that is completely opaque to the end users. We do all the hard work behind the scenes and never take down any files, so you don't have to make a harsh trade-off between availability and choosing a data region. Now, we've also heard from customers that they would like visibility into if and when the data is accessed by an authorized individual at Google Cloud. In order to do this, navigate to the Access Transparency report under the Audit section of reporting in your admin console. Looking at the report, you straightaway get an idea of the G Suite products that have been accessed by authorized individuals at Google, along with the justifications for those access. Let's pick an example. Let's pick this row where Google Drive was accessed due to a customer-initiated support ticket. We provide details of the specific case number that resulted in the access. We also provide details of the very specific resource that was accessed in order to investigate that support case. If you'd like to find out which exact resource was accessed, you can use this resource name in the Security Investigation tool, which is a part of the G Suite Security Center. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from our Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security and information governance use cases that customers can solve with G Suite. My name is Jisha, and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. How can I control how long data is retained? And what if my legal team needs my help? With Google Vault, you can manage your G Suite data according to your preferences using retention rules, as well as support your e-discovery needs with advanced search and export capabilities. Vault does not make a copy of data and is therefore not a backup solution. Instead, retention rules set in Vault act on data in the original storage systems and give you advanced control over your G Suite data, letting you specify how long to keep certain data and when to permanently delete it. When faced by litigation or compliance needs, you can use Vault to set holds, search your data, and export it out of G Suite. Now let's see Vault in action. I'm now on the home page of Google Vault. I'm going to first click on Retention in the left-hand menu. And on this page, I see a list of all existing rules. Let's say your legal team wants to keep all Google Drive data for 5 years. On this page, you can hover over Drive and click on the Edit icon to set a new rule. I'm going to choose the duration of 5 years from the date a file is created. And then I can choose whether to only get rid of documents that users have already cleared from trash, or get rid of all documents after 5 years. I'm going to choose the second option, which means that users will also lose documents that they still have access to if they're more than 5 years old. I'm going to now hit Save to save this rule, and I'm asked to acknowledge a few things. Note that if any users are on hold, the hold will override this retention rule, and their documents will be kept indefinitely. I'll show you holds in just a bit. With this retention rule we just created, you have now ensured that all Drive data is available through Vault for 5 years, even if users delete documents. Now, if you need to discover and export relevant data for a legal investigation, you can perform e-discovery related operations within a construct we call a matter. Suppose your legal team has asked you to find the secret formula for instant coffee developed by a team of researchers at your company. Let's create a matter for this investigation. I'm going to click on Matters in the left-hand menu here, and then I'm going to hit Create and name this matter Secret Formula. When I create a new matter, I first land on the Holds page. My legal department has asked me to put a key user, Ashley, on hold, so her Drive data stays intact until this investigation is complete. To create a new hold, I'm going to hit Create Hold in the left-hand menu here. I'm going to name this hold Secret Formula. And I'm going to choose to apply it to Google Drive and pick Ashley as the user that this hold applies to. This hold we just set will ensure that Drive documents accessible by Ashley are held indefinitely until this hold is removed. Now let's try to search for this Secret Formula document. I'm going to hit Search in the left-hand menu and choose to search Drive data. And let's start by searching Ashley's account. I can put a few more conditions in this search, such as dates or terms. I'm going to use the keyword formula, and let's see if something matches. I can click on the results to preview them within Vault. So let me click on the first result here. And this document looks promising. It looks like the secret formula my legal team is looking for. So I can export these results right from this page by hitting Export Results. I'm going to name this export secret formula as well. And once I kick off this export, I can see the status of this export from the Export tab in the left-hand menu. And when this export is complete, I can download a zip of results. With that, you've successfully discovered and collected information for a legal investigation. If you have G Suite Business or G Suite Enterprise, you're already licensed for Google Vault and can access it at ediscovery.google.com. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite and Cloud Identity. My name is Sriram, and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. Which second factor authentication method should I choose? It is now well known that passwords alone are not sufficient to protect your online identity. Two-factor authentication, also called two-step verification within Google products, has become a part of security hygiene, and we recommend that you consider enabling two-step verification for all of your users. Google supports a rich variety of 2FA methods. SMS and voice codes involve receiving one-time use passcodes either as an SMS text or an automated voice call. Backup codes are one-time passwords that can be printed by the user, and the printout can be taken to places where other forms such as a phone cannot be taken in. App-based OTPs and mobile push are other forms of similar 2FA methods. FIDO U2F keys are in a separate category by themselves. They were pioneered at Google and were designed from the ground up to be resistant to phishing. We'll look at each of these in a little more detail. Using any of these supported 2FA methods increases the security of your user accounts. However, you should be aware that not all of them have the same security properties. From a security perspective, the available 2FA methods really fall into three buckets. SMS and voice are the most insecure among these options because they are vulnerable to what is known as SIM swap attacks, and the SS7 protocol itself has some long-standing vulnerabilities. In addition to these two, the SMS codes can also be phished. Backup codes, TOTP-based authenticator apps, and the mobile push form a second category of 2FA methods. All of these can also be phished. Increasingly, phishing kits are easily available on the internet, which makes all of these methods not suitable for your highest risk users. FIDO-based U2F keys, which are designed to be phishing resistant, are really the answer for your phishing problems. Now, as an admin, you would categorize your users into one of these three buckets and apply the appropriate policies in the admin console. Let's look at how you would do that. As an admin, let us say you log into your admin console. You have three organizational units, one for all of your users, one for your medium risk users, and one for your high risk users. And as an admin, you have decided to enforce the use of 2FA for all of your users, prevent SMS for your medium risk users, and enforce the use of security keys only for your highest risk users. So how would you implement a policy like this in the admin console? You would first navigate to the security settings page, and go to the 2FA settings here. On this page, you see a familiar organizational unit tree on the left-hand side. So as I just explained, your decision is to enforce the use of any 2SV for the entire organization. So let's do that first. You would select the organizational unit on the left and click on Turn on Enforcement from Date. And you select sometime in the future, let's say July 1st, 2019. What this allows you to do is your users get some amount of time to enroll their second factors. And once this date is reached, and if there are any users who have not yet enrolled in their accounts, then they would be locked out, which is what you really want. And then you would click Save. Now, all users in your organization are required to use one of the supported 2SV methods. Now, we also said there is a high-risk OU, and we want to enforce the use of SMS. We want to use use of 2SV except SMS. So we would first turn on enforcement from a future date. We would say July 1st. And then we would select the option that says any 2SV method except text and phone calls. And then you can press Save. Now comes the third and final step of your plan, which is for your very high-risk users. We decided to enforce only use of security keys for these users. So we would select an enforcement date for those users and select the only security key option for them. What happens to these users is Google keeps sending them notification emails that you as an organizational admin have enforced 2SV settings and that they have to enroll the appropriate method into their account before the prescribed date. So the key takeaways: Google supports a rich set of 2SV methods. Using any of these supported methods increases the user's account security for your organization. However, also be aware that the security properties vary from each method to another method, and Google recommends that you consider FIDO U2F keys for your highest risk users. Talking of protecting your highest risk users, we are very happy to share that the Advanced Protection Program is now available for enterprise accounts. The Advanced Protection Program was launched in 2017 to protect consumer Google accounts. The program consists of high security settings, which includes the enforcement of security keys and other settings such as preventing unauthorized third-party apps accessing the user account data. Now, you can apply the same policies to your enterprise user accounts. Let's see how you would do that. As an admin, you would go back to the security settings page. And navigate down to a new card called the Advanced Protection Program. Here you would select one of the organizational units on the left pane, and you may allow those users to self-enroll into the Advanced Protection Program. And then you would press Save. Once you as an admin have allowed the users in that OU to self-enroll, the users may actually go through the self-enrollment process themselves. Let's see how that experience looks. This is Mary in her Gmail account. At this point, you have already allowed her to self-enroll into the Advanced Protection Program, so she would navigate to g.co/advanced protection to start the enrollment process. And then clicks on this Get Started link. Before Mary can complete the enrollment, she should have 2 security keys. The Advanced Protection Program requires the use of 2 security keys because if, for whatever reason, one key is lost or damaged, Mary still has another security key to access her account. If she loses or damages both of these accounts, you as an admin will have the option to allow her into her account by generating a backup code. So let's assume at this point you have distributed 2 security keys to Mary. So she would click on Register Security Keys. And at this point, because this is a highly privileged action, we want to make sure that it is indeed Mary. And we require her to confirm that by giving us the password again. So now Mary is prompted to register both the security keys. We will start with the first one. So Mary inserts her security key into the USB port and taps it. and the first key is registered. She would repeat the process with the second key as well by inserting it into the USB port and tapping it. Now that both keys are registered, we show some informational message to Mary to understand what is going to happen to her account, and then we complete the enrollment process. Now Mary is enrolled in the Advanced Protection Program, and for her security, to start with a clean slate, we'll log all sessions out, log her out of all active sessions, and force her to sign back in, including the current machine. So here it is, Mary is being prompted for one of her security keys. And she is now able to access her account. If Mary has any trouble at any time being enrolled in the Advanced Protection Program, you as an admin can look up what her status is by visiting her page in the admin console. You would see a tag that says Advanced Protection. So this shows that Mary is a APP user. In addition, her page also has a new card called Advanced Protection, and if for whatever reason you decide not to continue her in the Advanced Protection Program, you have the option of unenrolling her in this way. So we saw how you can allow users to self-enroll, and how a user actually goes through the self-enrollment process, and how to manage users who are in the program. In summary, the Advanced Protection Program is a convenient way for you to apply a bundle of high security setting for your most valuable users. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite. My name is Darshan, and I'm one of the product managers at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. Can I set up rules for automating alerts and taking repetitive actions? Let's take a look at the demo. So let's first take a look at where the alerts are delivered. All the essential alerts are delivered to a single pane called the Alert Center. And to get to this, you navigate to it from the admin homepage, click on the upper left-hand navigation, select Security and Alert Center. And here you'll see a variety of different alerts that Google automatically runs and detects and gives you notifications on. Most of these fall into three key categories. One is around Gmail safety, so we're looking for phishing, malware, and spam messages. We do things such as give you notifications around user-reported spam and phishing, as well as post-delivery reclassification messages. We also have several alerts looking at account security to help you know when accounts have been suspended for suspicious activity, as well as mobile device management suspicious activity alerts. Another one is the leaked password, where we look to see if your user credentials have been posted publicly on any site. So now let's dig into one of these examples, and we're going to open up the phishing message detected post-delivery. Here you can see several different pieces of detail. One, it's saying that Google detected and reclassified one message, and if it was unopened, we moved it automatically to the recipients, out of the recipient's inbox. If the user has interacted with it, it will remain in their inbox, and this notification will help you know to go and remove that manually. There's other information here, such as related alerts lower on, where you can see more details on why that alert might have occurred, and also if there was anything that happened afterwards, such as data exfiltration. Now let's think about how do we create our own custom rule and set up our own repetitive action remediation steps. So we're going to go to the activity rules section. So click on the navigation again, under Security, select Activity Rules, and we're going to select something similar to this alert with more actions taken. So now we're going to go into the upper right-hand corner, click Add New Rule. We're going to give it a rule name. So let's say this is late spam reclassification. Rule. Okay. And now we're going to click on Next. And here you can select your data source. So for rules, you have several different data sources you can pick from. Device logs, Drive, Gmail, and user. In this case, let's go to Gmail log events. And you're going to select an event. And again, there are several choices of different type of events you can monitor to create your custom rule. And for each data source, they will also have different events there. So in this case, we want to do late spam classification. And this is where Google detects that a message was spam, phishing, or malware after it was delivered and reclassifies it. So we want to create a rule for this, and we're going to hit Add Action now. And first, you're going to get a great little preview about the type of results you should expect. And this will help you determine whether you've set up the right rule or not. Here we see that there'll be some instances over the past month, and there was a spike that was under 40. This looks like a pretty good rule that's not going to be too noisy. So now we'll scroll down and look at the threshold. And here it's going to trigger every 24 hours when the count is greater than 0. That looks perfect. Now let's go ahead and see what action options we have. So I'm going to click on Add Action and select Action. So here we have several Gmail specific actions we can take. And in this case, let's automatically move these to the quarantine state when these messages are reclassified and make it so the users are less likely to interact with them again. We can also turn on an alert that will get delivered in the Alert Center as we saw earlier. We can determine the severity of this. So these look like, these will be pretty important. So let's pick high. And we can pick the admins that we want to receive these email notifications associated with the alerts. Let's go ahead and select all super admins. And now we'll hit Next to review the rule. And we can see all the details we just selected. Everything looks great. And now let's create the rule. So within a few easy steps, we have gone through the process of creating a custom rule and adding automatic actions to make it easier to remediate and create the notification for us to be aware of it, both in the Alert Center and through the email. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
Welcome to the Google Cloud Security Showcase, a special web series where we'll focus on security use cases that customers can solve with G Suite. My name is Andrew, and I'm a product manager at Google Cloud. Today, we'll be walking through one of the top questions we get from customers. How do I control which third-party apps have access to my data? Now I'll show you how you can review the API Permissions tool to see which third-party web and other apps have access to the data in your G Suite account. And you can control which apps can access those data, either by trusting certain apps or by limiting access to G Suite services using our API Permissions feature. The way you get there is from the Google Admin or G Suite Admin page. The security menu on the left-hand side, you go to Security Settings. You can also click on the security icon, which will take you to Security Settings. In the Security Settings, you go all the way to the bottom, and you'll see API Permissions. This allows you to control who has access to G Suite APIs or OAuth 2 scopes, where apps can access data such as your Gmail, Drive, Calendar, and other G Suite app data. As you can see here in this account, access to these OAuth 2 scopes is enabled for all services today. Let's say that you wanted to tighten security in your account and not allow access except for specific authorized apps to your Gmail and Drive data. Here you can click to disable access to those services. Perhaps you might also disable access to Google Admin. In the case of Gmail and Drive, you can disable all access, or you can disable access only to what we call our high-risk scopes, for example, sending or deleting Gmail or deleting Drive content. But we're going to limit access to all access because we want to have the strictest policy around Gmail and Drive. Once you save these settings, yes, you will block user access to all OAuth apps using this capability. Now, once you've done this, users who are attempting to activate those services will find themselves blocked. And in fact, you can provide this custom information, this custom notice at the bottom of the window so that you can, for example, provide your own contact details as an administrator. From this page, you can also decide if you want to trust domain-owned apps. For example, if you have AppScript or other apps that you've built in your GCP console and you want to trust them all, you can check that box. Now, if you want to review the apps that you have in your environment and decide which ones you actually want to trust, you click here on Installed Apps, or you can click on the number of apps that are accessing the different services here. When I click on Installed Apps, you can see here you've got approximately 10 apps that have access to, or have had up to now, access to your Google services. In this case, my Google Drive Chrome extension, which is a web application, I want to make sure that that will continue to have access even though I've tightened access to Drive. And so when I click here on the right-hand side, I can trust this app. So by doing so, you can add this to our trusted list. And if you click here on the trusted list now, you can see which apps are in fact trusted so that you can make sure that those are supported. Additionally, if you want, you can use this add button to add an app to the trusted list. Now, the way that you would do that, you actually need the OAuth 2 client ID in order to add an app to the list. So what we'll do here is copy the OAuth client ID for another service called Google Gather. I'm going to the trusted list here. Generally, you would do this with your OAuth client ID. For example, if you've developed it in your GCP console and assigned a client ID there, that's where you would have done it. But you can add this here, and in fact, it will look it up and add it to the trusted list this way. So with both of these methods, you can decide which specific apps can access those OAuth 2 scopes or your G Suite APIs and block access to the rest. And why you would want to do this is because if there's apps out there, for example, your users may have trusted without knowing about them, you can block those apps and thereby reduce your exposure to potential data loss. Thank you for tuning in. Please visit cloud.google.com/security for more content from Google Cloud experts.
We hope that you found these use case-based demos useful. Keep a lookout for our next set of Google Cloud Security talks later this year. We appreciate your time and thank you very much for attending.